I just thought of something right now. Quick thought. Sometimes it's not because we are the enemy of progress. Sometimes it's not because we are lazy and we don't want to do anything. I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of people that, let's say, grew up believing certain things. Like, for instance, you have to get a job. You have to go to school, and I'm not trying to debunk the importance of going to school, getting your education, because I myself got my education, and there's a lot of benefits to getting education. Firstly, there's opportunities that you basically default yourself to be opened up to, but I would say though, most of the time, like for instance, if you grew up in a family where they believed getting a job is the only way you can be taken serious, obviously you're gonna feel left out if you're unemployed. Despite the technological revolution, all that it needs is someone to be informed, I can say. Find better ways of making money. I think sometimes the reason why we fear what other people would say is because we were raised a certain way, and the beliefs that we grew up with almost make us feel left out when we try to define our own worlds. And I think sometimes people mistaken that for lack of progress or laziness, or rather you're an enemy of progress yourself, as you would be defined by society. But I think it's always important to be brutal to ourselves, firstly as people, biggest critics of ourselves, to say, if technology is revolving like this, or if it's evolving like this, how can I put myself in a position where opportunities would then find me? And I think this is where now resilience comes in, because first you have to do a lot of research, you have to find out what your competition is, and sometimes you have to get into niches that you're not really passionate about, but because you want to place yourself in positions where golden opportunities would find you, then I guess you'd have to make those kind of moves. So the point I'm trying to make is the fear of us trying to redefine our worlds is actually the one that's making us feel left out, and as a result we do not make progress. Instead, we try to go back to what we've always been familiar with, not sure if it works. We can only see through other people working out for them, but I think we are not too much of risk takers in this world. Sometimes we are too much afraid to disappoint people, all in the name of, what if I don't make it? What if I fail at this? How will I be looked at after the outcome of this? So I feel like we live in a world of abundance where not taking a risk is a risk by itself, because you can be left out by so many opportunities that could have been seized, honestly, by just a mere affirmative decision to take a risk. So all I want to say is, let's be the biggest critics of ourselves, and let's learn to redefine our worlds. We live in an ever-evolving world. I don't know how the world was 10 years ago, but the compound growth to which we've been exposed to over the years is just so monumental that it's almost unbelievable. So all I want to say is, let's try to redefine our worlds. Let's always stop trying to define ourselves with things that we've always been familiar with, because I feel like sometimes, even though we do want to make progress, things that we already know are not really progressive because we haven't really been actionable about them, or we have been and seen that they have not been working. So the resources that we have, that technology has availed for all of us, I think let's take an advantage with that, and let's stop demonizing. Let's give the devil his due sometimes and try to see what we can milk out of this. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and share. I just thought I should share this before I go to work. Peace out.